Chapter 11. The Evil King. Ft. With Gu Hai's first punch, a mouthful of stomach water spewed out from the bald evil man, and under the immense pain, the bald evil man instantly curled up. It hurt too much, and the bald evil man was certain that his current punch power was definitely not a tenth of this. Punch. Attack. The other 9 instantly pounced. Who. A host of fists greeted Gu Hai. Gu Hai's body was incomparably agile at the moment, probing his hand and slamming fist to fist with one of the villains. Boom. That villain was immediately sent flying 7 or 8 steps away. Lifting his foot, another villain was sent flying. Twisting to grab an arm, Gu Hai violently twisted it. Ka-ching, oh! Drilling pain rang out, and the man instantly fell to the ground in agony. Finish him off. The balding villain at the beginning climbed up, probed his hand and fished out a stone knife. Chopping towards Gu Hai. Obviously, whoever could survive until now was not an idle person. This stone knife had been sharpened for a long time. With a fierce face, he chopped towards Gu Hai to kill him. Boom. Gu Hai's figure surged, grabbing the bald villain's wrist and violently kicking his head. Boom. The balding villain was instantly kicked out. A mouthful of blood sprayed out, and a piece of his teeth fell out. Asshole. A few people from the side hit. Gu Hai's figure was very swift and fierce, much fiercer than one of the villains. Boom, 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 boom. In the twinkling of an eye, he cleanly knocked the small group of 10 villains all to the ground. The 10 villains painfully covered the parts that were heavily injured by Gu Hai, one by one in the midst of wailing in pain. Clatter. At this moment, in the Evil Man Valley, all the evil men all stood up and looked at Gu Hai together. Everyone was immortal nowadays, and no one wanted to cause conflict at this time, but who would have thought that Gu Hai would actually be so unruly? Kid, what are you doing? A villain in the distance called out. More than 3,000 villains looked at Gu Hai together. Gu Hai spun around and coldly looked at the 3,000 or so villains in the valley. From now on, I am the boss of this Evil Man Valley. All of you must listen to me, Gu Hai said with a glare in his eyes. What? Wow. The Wicked Man Valley was in an uproar. Everyone looked at Gu Hai with wide eyes, as if they were looking at a madman. Those who don't submit, feel free to come and fight me, Gu Hai said with a glare in his eyes. Who? Gu Hai immediately rushed towards yet another small group. Seek death. The crowd of that small group immediately glared. Boom. Gu Hai instantly punched over with great speed and power. Boom. The first person was immediately sent flying. Go together. Finish him off. Bastard boy, looking for death. In the midst of the clamor, a group of people suddenly pounced over. How can this be, with his cultivation all sealed? How is his strength and speed so great? Some of the villains stared in surprise. Roar. Gu Hai was instantly surrounded by the crowd. Rumble. In the crowd, there was a dense sound of fists hitting flesh. The villains who were not good were all ruthless characters. For Gu Hai's fists, even if they got hit, they wanted to tear off a piece of Gu Hai's flesh in general. However, Gu Hai's fists were just as powerful. A fist was thrown out. There was no fixed stance, only fast, fast, fast. This was the idiosyncrasy of cultivating external power. Everyone had their cultivation sealed, but Gu Hai's physical body was too strong. Outer work cultivation was simply not something that could be imagined by those who cultivated inner work. Occasionally, Gu Hai's body suffered punches from the evil people. The punches rammed into Gu Hai's body, but it was as if Gu Hai wasn't afraid of pain as he pounded his opponents over and over again, amidst the rain of punches. For a while, it was as if Gu Hai had become the center of an explosion, and one by one, the villains were sent flying out by Gu Hai's punch after punch, as if they were blown up. His body. It's like steel is as hard as steel. No, as strong as steel is. It can be pierced through by me, but I can't hit his body. "Ah, bastard, roar." The crowd of villains were horrified as they fought around Guhai. Moreover, as the fight intensified, more and more villains got involved. "Subjugate this newcomer. Are you kidding me? I'm the boss outside. I'm the boss wherever I go. And when I'm in the evil man's valley, I'll be your little brother. I'm the villain of villains. What are you?" Guhai's ferocity, indeed, surprised a group of wicked people. A group of wicked people also understand that this new one is strong. But, if he can't be knocked down, the one who will be knocked down later is himself. "You are powerful, but there are thousands of us." "I don't believe it. You are more powerful than thousands of us." "Finish him off. Finish him off." "Damn it. I don't believe it." Rumble. As Guhai's fists passed by, one by one, the villains were sent flying. "Damn, I don't believe it." "Bah, go." A group of villains were sent flying out, unbelievingly rushing back again, each with red eyes. They must get this back. Being someone's little brother, fuck you. The group of villains desperately pounced on Guhai. Guhai's body had already suffered a large number of heavy blows from the fists, but Guhai fought desperately as if nothing had happened. Guhai understood that with this group of villains, the only way to subdue them was if you were stronger than them, stronger than all of them. If you want them to recognize you as their boss, you have to surpass them in all aspects. Are you guys ruthless? I am more ruthless than you. Are you guys strong? I'm stronger than you. Are you evil? I am more evil than you. Roar. Guhai fought desperately. A group of evil people came forward. At once, they squeezed Guhai in the center. Squeeze him to death, so that he doesn't have room to power up. A villain roared. Rumble. At once, large swathes of villains pounced on them, turning their eyes as if they were stacking Luohon, surrounding Guhai and squeezing him in the center. It was as if they wanted to squeeze Guhai to death. Die for me. Guhai's eyes glared with a roar. Boom. Instantly, the 50 villains stacked together were instantly knocked out by the strong force that erupted from Guhai, exploding in all directions as if they were heavenly maidens. The external technique, which was based on tempering the flesh, there were few people in the world who could cultivate to the Haoshan realm consummation, could seal Guhai's danshan, but could not seal Guhai's fleshly body. Powerful speed, never tiring strength, Guhai was like a war machine, crashing into the crowd of evildoers in a frenzy. Time and time again, he sent the crowd of villains flying. Among the villains, all of them were unruly and unruly. More and more surrounded them, of course. More people might not be powerful. After all, the surface that Guhai fought on was fixed, over and over again. He forcefully sent his opponents flying, crippled them, and left them with no power to fight again. This ferocious scene fell in the eyes of Scar and Chen Chonchun, but made the two of them swallow deeply several times. In front of their eyes, the images of the constant screams and the rain of people flying up into the sky made Chen Chonchun once again have the feeling of returning to the innate remnant realm. In the ancestral remnant realm, it was because of the cloud beast, Guhai's superb chess skills, and the 28 heaven and earth vertical and horizontal formations. Chen Chonchun had always thought that Guhai's one-man fight against tens of thousands was due to the grand formation. But after arriving here, Chen Chonchun's senses completely changed. The three views were also completely reversed by Guhai. So, it's really possible to fight thousands of them alone. Chen Chonchun looked at this scene blankly. Scar, however, was dazzled as he looked at the wicked people flying in all directions, all of which were sent flying out by Guhai. Evil people. If this group was villains, then Guhai in front of him was the king of villains. It was also the first time Scar saw such a fierce person. After walking on the edge of life and death for so long, it was the first time he had seen this kind of person. Scar looked at the center of the battlefield and looked at Chen Chonchun. That, brother, what is he from? Scar felt his nerves trembling. one fighting thousands. How much does that mean? All of them had their cultivation sealed. How could the gap be so wide? Roar. Gu Hai let out a roar, and once again a group of people were sent flying. Ah. A series of them were sent flying. Go together, all go. All the villains rushed up. An hour of fighting had been enough for all the villains to realize how powerful Gu Hai was, and to know that they were definitely not Gu Hai's opponent. However, if they were to just admit defeat without a fight, the hearts of all the villains were also extremely unwilling to be beaten into submission. Just like that. The crowd of villains were all unruly characters. Where had they ever received this kind of aggression? Even if they were submissive, they still wanted to fight. They would rather be beaten into submission than be afraid. Rumble. Huge impact sounds, accompanied by countless miserable screams, resounded throughout the entire Wicked Man Valley. This night was destined to be an extraordinary night, an uneventful night in the Wicked Man Valley. This battle was fought from late at night until the early hours of the morning. Ooh, the sound of a rooster crowing came from outside. The first ray of morning sunlight illuminated the cloudy Evil Man Valley. At this moment, the battle had stopped, and bursts of painful wailing sounds were heard from all around. Piles and piles of wicked people, now like corpses, were stacked into a small mountain. At the top of the small mountain stood Gu Hai. Gu Hai's face was puffy. His whole body was swollen, and his clothes were torn and tattered. He looked extremely wretched, but no one dared to laugh at this wretched appearance. As the breeze blew through the valley, everyone fell to the ground and watched in horror as Gu Hai walked down from the hill step by step. From today onwards, I'm your boss. Those who don't submit, fight again tonight. Gu Hai's voice was slurred, and his swollen mouth distorted his voice. However, this distorted voice was incomparably chilling in the ears of all the villains. Those who don't submit will fight again tonight. This was the most vicious sentence that the villains had heard since they entered the Valley of Villains. Evil people, more than 3,000 wicked people, beaten to the ground by him alone, and all of them were beaten to the point of crawling up in one night. Gu Hai slowly walked back to his previous resting place amidst the gazes of the crowd. Turning his head to look at the evil people huddled in pain in the Evil Man Valley, Gu Hai's puffy face revealed an ugly smile. That smile, however, saw a chill in the hearts of countless villains. He was the evil of the evils, the king of the wicked,